Okay, here's the thing. This really wasn't something that I was planning to get. I mean, I knew that it was coming. I didn't pre-order it or anything like that. And then suddenly I see it in the hobby store display yesterday, and everything about it, the sculpting, the colors, the classic design, everything was just calling to me. My mind was saying no, but my heart just wanted to respond with a ho. Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toys based channel in Malaysia. Today I'm checking out the Super 7 Thundercats Wave 6 classic 80s toy inspired Lion O Ultimates action figure. Now this figure may be inspired by a childhood Lion O figure, but the packaging reminds you sternly that this is not for kids. It says here 14 years and above, adult collectible, not a toy. Now, this is my first ever Super 7 Ultimates purchase. I thought that it was going to be the Super 7 Silverhawks line instead because I definitely want those Quicksilver and Monster figures. But I don't know where the hell those figures are supposed to be. It's like they've been delayed over 2 years now already. Meantime, this is landed first. And within the mailer box, you find that the packaging box itself comes sealed in a plastic bag. So definitely, they've taken some steps here to make sure that this thing comes well secured. Now, the front of the box has the iconic Thundercats logo just right there in front of you. In the 80s, you wanted this logo on everything. Belt buckles, lunch boxes. You would draw the logo on your classroom desk. Okay, remember that? Now, on the back of the box here, you've got the iconic Thundercats font design. This thing is just so bright and vivid. It's just so nostalgic. You know, when I was a kid, I remember I had a Thundercats notepad. It had the logo in the front there, just front and center. And man, look at this thing. It kind of reminds me of a notebook cover. Okay, the exterior section of the packaging is actually this cardboard slipcase that slides over the box. And now you can slide it off to reveal the contents within. And man, the contents just look absolutely freaking gorgeous. Okay, this is how the store actually displayed the figure. Okay, just out in the open like this, without the box packaging and stuff like that. They just displayed it like this because they knew. Okay, people like me were going to be walking past, seeing something like this, and just get sucked right back into it. Okay, just sucked right back into the 1980s. It doesn't matter whether or not you had the Lion O figures that came out before this, but when you saw something like this, man, you just instantly want it. Okay, if it was something that was calling out to you, and it definitely was calling out to me, guys. Okay, so we're gonna get this figure out of the box in just a bit. We're gonna explore it, find out just how awesome he really is in hand. Meantime, on the back of the box, you also get this pretty great looking shot here, an artwork illustration here of Lion O with a full text description. And I'm gonna hold it up here on the screen. You guys can take a photo of it if you want. The main gist of it here, the main thing that you guys need to remember is that Lion O is actually just a kid. Okay, he's a 12-year-old kid, 12 or 13, something like that. It's just that his body was aging while he was stuck in suspended animation on the trip down to Third Earth. I'm sure you guys already remember this, but in case you didn't, yeah, he's just a kid. His mind is that of a child, a teenager sort of, but his body has aged to that of an adult. Okay, that's something that I think that a lot of people don't actually remember, but that's what the facts are, guys. Okay, out of the package, and wow, I have to say that they have done a really great job with this figure, man. It's my first time holding a Super 7 Ultimates action figure body in my hands, and man, it looks and feels awesome. It's such a clean and neat sculpt from head to toe, just like the original. Now this one doesn't need any sort of edgy paint wash. It's riding fully on that nostalgia wave. It just needs to be simplistic and straight to the point, and that's what they're giving you here. Now the face sculpt is just really amazing, man. I'm just blown away by how well this expression and look captures the feel of the classic Lion O. Now some previous interpretations maybe had him looking a little bit more serious or determined, but this one is just perfect. He looks hopeful and confident and maybe even friendly. I don't know, man, because when you were a kid, you really just want the Lion O to be a friend. One of the main things I found myself concerned about when getting this thing was the paint applications. It just seems that way sometimes when I'm investing in a new line. I don't know for sure how good the work is until I actually own it. The paint apps on this figure are close to perfect. I mean, just look at the job on Lion O's face alone. It's fantastic. And then you work your way down to the belt buckle and the belt area. You don't see anything like slop or paint bleed or anything like that. And there's a lot of areas here on the figure where, there's a critical separation of painted areas, like with the gloves on his hands too, or when you walk away down to the white borders on his boots, everything here is just executed really well. And the colors are like so striking, man. It's just really popping. If the common complaint with Super 7 stuff is the delays, well, if the delays involve getting the paint done just right, then I'd say that it's worth the wait. The ball joint in Lion O's head is pretty smooth and allows for a good range of motion. The joint is tight as well, so the head is not going to be drooping down or anything like that. You know, for one of the first times you get a classic looking Lion O figure that can look up and down smoothly. And that's what you want with the modern day figures, okay? You want this increased articulation that makes the figures be able to do stuff that the old ones couldn't do at all. The mid-chest joint works great. It's real nice and tight as well. You can rock him back and forth, have him crouched in all kinds of action positions if you want to. Also, he turns at the waist. Waist articulation may not seem like a big deal, but the original 80s figure never had any, right? So as far as I'm concerned, that's an innovation here. Now, the rest of the articulation seems pretty much standard for modern day figures. He's got ball jointed shoulders. These work around really well. Upper bicep swivel. He also bends at the elbow here. Okay, this one's pretty tight, I gotta say, you know. But yeah, he bends. And then he's also got movement here at the wrist area. You can turn it around, also bend it back and forth like this. Overall, I gotta say that I'm very impressed, okay, with the quality of the joints here. They're very tight, okay, they're very firm, especially like right here at the elbows here, okay, these bend very tightly, okay, but that's what you want, okay, you don't want this stuff to be drooping, falling off, anything like that, all right? So the articulation here is very impressive indeed. Okay, working your way down, he doesn't quite have crazy articulation loaded into the legs, but he's got some pretty good stuff here, like, you know, ball jointed hips, of course. He bends at the knees too, some really tight knee joints there, right? And a really good range of motion as well. Look at how the knees roll all the way back like that. He also turns at the knee. Check this out. Work your way down further still, and he's got movement right there at the ankles. You can bend it back and forth on this joint and also turn it from side to side, all right? Again, really fantastic, really tight joints. And I have to say that, you know, somehow the elbow and knee joints seem particularly tight. Okay, I guess these are like the most critical areas when you want to pose the figure. I'm glad, okay, that this thing feels really, really sturdy. All right, overall, look, you know, I'm really happy with the paint apps. I'm really happy with the articulation. You know, the sculpt looks great. So what do we have left? Okay, we got to check out the accessories next. Okay, now one thing I wanted to point out here is that there's something here that's sticking out there at the side of the belt buckle. I thought it was like a hook for one of the accessories to go onto. It doesn't actually gel with any of the accessories here. I looked it up online. Actually, it's supposed to go with the tiger claw shield, but not the tiger claw shield that comes with this particular set. So this whole belt buckle area here is probably just reused from one of the earlier Lion Os, from the earlier waves. So that's kind of disappointing because you got this peg sticking out here at the side that you just want to use, all right, but you can't, okay, because nothing in this particular set interacts with it. You got to get one of those, you know, smaller tiger claw shields from the earlier figures. That might work. Okay, I don't have any on hand right now. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because it may suck a little bit, and it does, in fact. Okay, accessories check. First up, we've got the Sword of Omens. This is the 80s styled Sword of Omens, fully lengthened. It's looking pretty good. The handle tip here is hard plastic. All right, this whole section here, the plastic's very sturdy and tight. The emblem looks great. You know, the classic swords that came with the LJN Toys, there's a lot of like red bleeding into the emblem. That's what I remember about those swords. They were really flimsy. This one here, well, yeah, it's pretty sturdy. The blade, however, is just flexible. Yeah, just like flexible, like material like that. You can bend it. I suppose that's the way it's got to be though, okay? You can't have these things being too sharp. And then we get down to the extra hands that this guy comes with. First of all, he's got this extra set of claw hands, okay? Like just, you know, exposed claws. These are pretty okay. I suppose you can have, you know, all kinds of like clawing and raking, striking positions. Okay, this next set of hands is a little bit weird because it's another set of closed fist hands, very similar to the ones that are already on the figure. So why are we getting another set? I don't know, okay? It's pointless. Just give something different, like a shorter Sword of Omens. Okay, remove this. Now, we also get the claw shield. Okay, this is the very 80s inspired claw shield. Earlier, I referred to this thing as the tiger claw shield, I realized. I don't know why I did that, okay? This thing, yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be called a tiger claw shield. This is the claw shield. It's looking good. And this thing actually attaches to Lion O by plugging into his hand socket. Okay, so it's different from how the 80s one worked. Okay, the thing just sort of like latched onto his hand. But this one, no. Okay, you got to pull out his hand and just plug it in there. We're going to check it out later in a bit. And the last of the included accessories is the alternate head portrait. Now, look, This thing, I mean, to me personally, I don't really quite like it, right? It's an angry look, okay? Fine, okay, Lionel gets angry as well, but this expression just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why, okay? Maybe it's something about the mouth, the way that, they sculpted the teeth. It just doesn't work for me at all, right? Now, look, you got this really wholesome Lionel expression, and, it's supposed to morph from this into this really angry face, and I get how that could happen, but I just don't think that this is an effective translation, all right, of an angry looking face. Okay, but let's just pop it onto Lionel's head here. Just remove the existing head and check out the size of that peg in there. Wow. Okay, but this thing's tight, like I said. Okay, so just pop the heads on there and see how this thing looks like. Like I said, I mean, look, it may work for you. Okay, but for me personally, I just feel that, look, I don't think I'll be using this angry head on Lionel. I wish we had a different expression though. It could be angry, but this one just doesn't do it for me at all. Okay, the first thing I've been wanting to do ever since I got this figure out of the package is to have him holding on to the Sword of Omens with both of his grip hands in front of him like this in the classic Thundercats summoning pose. And you know what? It just blows me away that he's able to do this so effortlessly. And it looks freaking fantastic, man. This is the first time I've got a classic-inspired Lionel figure that can actually achieve this look. All right, you know what, honestly, the vintage figure, he couldn't do anything with that thing. Okay, it was just like moving his arms up and down. But this one, man, he can hold a sword right in front of him like this. This is probably like the key requirement of the figure. Make damn sure that the Lionel figure can actually do this. Probably the previous figures in the waves that came before this could do this as well. I don't know, because I don't have those figures. But man, seeing this figure able to achieve it, this just makes the whole purchase so completely worthwhile, okay? Because it was an expensive purchase, okay? And you know what? Let's plug out his hand here and get the claw shield plugged in so we can check out how this thing looks like. Okay, like I said, it operates completely different from the 80s version. Look at that. Okay, it just fits in there real smooth, man. Look at that, man. Wow. Just looks freaking great, man. Okay, now he's got the claw shield on, sword in hand. He is ready. Okay, check out this pose, man. He's ready to lead the Thundercats into battle, to take down some mutants, save the planet, destroy Mumra. Look, man, just the fact that he can achieve all these awesome poses, doesn't this just seem like the ultimate Lionel figure to you? I mean, honestly, man, they should have just gone with this particular version right from the beginning, right? And I think that's the consensus with a lot of collectors out there, because they didn't really, I don't know, warm up to the original Wave 1 Super 7 figures. I saw those figures too. I didn't really feel like there was any kind of like need to reach out there and grab them. They kind of seem very similar to the Bandai versions that came out prior to this, but this was just perfect, okay? Let's have him with his angry look, okay? Check this out. Like I said, yeah, he looks a little bit too demented. Doesn't quite work for me, but it may work for you guys, okay, to have him pose like this with this super angry and like almost maniacally possessed look. Now, I also wanted to do a comparison here with the classic 1985 LJN Toys Lion O figure. This figure has made a lot of previous appearances in other videos here on the channel, but this is a perfect time to do a comparison between these two figures. Put them here side by side, and you know what? In actual fact, you'll see that they are of the same height. Okay, that is a bit surprising to me, right? I didn't realize they were actually about the same height. You are technically getting a fully updated version of the classic figure. I'm going to do probably a more in-depth comparison between these two figures in another video. Okay, this video is already running like way over time, okay? So maybe I'll do another comparison video between the two. But then the classic figure does have a couple of things, okay, that this new figure doesn't have, namely the light up eyes function, okay? That's one of the key differences, okay, between these two figures. Other than that, I mean, it's like the differences are, pretty wide, all right, between these two guys, okay? Just by looking at them like this, yeah, the differences are pretty wide. Either way, I gotta say that this update is fantastic, okay? If you're investing in this particular classic Lionel figure, the toy version that's coming out here as part of Super 7's Wave 6, I would say that, look, hey, no regrets right here. The only real gripe that I have, okay, and this being an Ultimates figure and me seeing what, Super 7 has done previously with other Ultimates figure offerings, this one's really light on the accessories versus the cost that you're paying for it. I mean, an Ultimates package is supposed to come with a whole shit ton of accessories, okay, stuff, okay, all kinds of stuff. Even for the classic figure, there's a lot more stuff that can pump into this thing. All right, that's still relevant to it being a classic figure, but somehow it's just a little bit light on the accessories, I gotta say. And that's a little bit disappointing, honestly, okay, because the amount of stuff that you're getting here is just basically like what you get with like a standard Marvel Legends or even a Motu Masterverse figure. Okay, these days the Motu Masterverse figures come with the same amount of stuff that you're getting here, all right? But other than that, look, man, I'm loving this figure. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. hit me up there. Let me know if you're looking forward to this particular figure, if you're collecting the Super 7 Thundercats line. I want to hear from you guys, and I'll catch you all again real soon with more content right here. Thank you, and take care out there.